everyone, welcome to my second EdTalk. Today I'm going to talk about a few key points found in the book for white folks who teach in the hood. And this is a great book, by the way. I find it very interesting and I can relate to it a lot. So the first key point I want to make is about the invisible man. And who is the invisible man? The invisible man is the invisible student. In this book, we read about a scenario about a female student who gets in trouble by his teacher for not being prepared in class and for being disruptive. The student actually gets suspended. Um, this book makes a point about the fact that the teacher didn't see that the student was indeed prepared, and the version of a student being prepared with the version of the teacher they were very different. The student did not see that this did not see the point that the student made, did not see that the student was indeed prepared, but perhaps his way of being prepared is very different than her way. And this is when the student becomes invisible. And I think that many of us can relate. We have seen this in our classrooms, we have experienced it in our past, or we have experienced it with our children even, when we just cannot see through them. We cannot see where they're coming from. And this becomes like a battle in education or in just in general with youth and adults where we don't understand each other. And this is a very good point that the author makes, because it is a very teachable moment when we go through these experiences and when we make a child or a youth upset because we just can't agree on something. The next point I want to make is about fear, and it's fear of teaching. And in this case, in the case of the book, fear of teaching, fear of your students. It presents us with a scenario that I found very, very funny because I can totally relate to, about a group of teachers who are new and they are about to meet their students. They're all waiting in the gym and they're very nervous, especially the narrator, the male teacher is very nervous to meet his students. So as they walk in, he starts seeing them, he starts observing them. He notices a few of them, their clothes, the way they walk, and he gets more nervous as he notices these students. Why? Because he has perceptions of certain students, urban students we're talking about. He has these pre-assumptions in his head of who is a good student and who is a bad student. And as the book points out, teachers categorize students based on the real ideas about the youth that we had subconsciously ingested. And my question is, where do we get these ideas from? Do we get them from past experiences? Do we get them from the media? Do we get them from common knowledge? Where do we come from when we automatically assume that a student that looks, I don't know, hip hop style or whatever, has MJs or wears baggy clothes or is saying, he talks this way, where do we get that this student will be a bad student? I feel that if we can get past this idea and just worry about what is important, which is teaching these students. For me, if I can get past this idea, because I have been in this situation where I totally have judged a student based on how he or she looks. If I can just get past that, I think I would consider myself a very successful teacher. The third point I want to make is very simple. Just teach like you mean it. Teach like a preacher would in a black church. Connect with the students like the preacher connects with this audience or the audience, and we'll be fine. Thank you for watching. Bye.